Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to listen to. 10 years of Going In Raw, Larson.
10.
My goodness gracious. Anyways, on
Hard
today's episode, we're going to be listening to your questions and answering them as well.
We're just going to read questions and listen.
We're just going to read them.
We can do Friendo Question AMSR.
Yeah. Hi, Steven Larson.
Hi, Steven Larson.
Blake Whitehouse here.
Will Cody finish the story?
Next question. On this episode, we're going to answer your questions. We're also going to talk about the latest on Scott D'Amore's TNA exit amidst the company shakeup. And when I say shakeup, I mean that place is going to fall apart without Scott D'Amore. That's some Steve editorializing. That's not a news story. That's my Andy Rooney bit.
That's Steve's hot take on it.
Yeah. But first, of course, we're going to talk about this.
We're talking about QT Marshall coming back to AEW, aren't we, Steve?
Hey, why isn't that in here? That should be in here. QT Marshall's coming back to AEW.
As working behind the scenes, though, he's not wrestling.
Well, that's good. You know, you got to go
now, though.
You got to go out. People seem to like him behind the scenes.
All right.
That's why.
I'm just basing on QTV. That wasn't
the
good
word on the street. Was
QTV
people
wasn't very
appreciated
good.
him. Anyways, yeah, that's not really news. But what is news is Drew McIntyre and his contract status with WWE. Of course, he's been doing some really, really fun work lately.
Oh, best work of his career.
Best work of his career. One of the best characters right now, having the most fun on WWE programming. He's got that great shirt that Adam Pearce really doesn't like.
Do you think Adam Pearce has a sway to call up the WWE shop and be like, hey, pull it?
No. Well, no. Yeah, he might. I don't think in character he realizes it, though. I don't think he knows that he does.
And why is that, Steve?
Because he's too busy getting drunk.
That's the correct answer, Steve.
Anyways, Drew McIntyre, let's talk about him. So this came from PW Insider, and they're just sort of doing some speculation. You know?
Seemingly, yeah.
Slow news day. Let's talk about Drew McIntyre's contract. And PW Insider noted the following things about Drew McIntyre, which may indicate...
May's important to this whole thing, too.
That he might have signed a new deal with WWE. He says, enter PW Insider.
Is this a quote from Drew? No, PW Insider, yes.
Yes, Mr. PW Insider. Says, interesting to note that Drew McIntyre, is this Mike Johnson, do we know? Interesting to note that Drew McIntyre is being advertised for the May WWE event in Italy.
Yes, Mike Johnson.
A sign the two sides may have come to terms on an agreement beyond WrestleMania 40. The expectation, as PWInsider.com has previously reported, was that his deal expired shortly after, was set to expire shortly after Mania takes place in April. So, of course, Mania is like April 1st and 2nd, something like that.
Very early in the month, yes.
Very early in April. And then it'd be goodbye Drew McIntyre. But as we've seen these days, he's doing really good work.
Yes.
And you would think creatively he'd be pretty satisfied. He might be our next WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
I mean, I honestly, assuming he signs or is set to sign a new contract, I would expect that to happen at WrestleMania, given the work he's doing, given the arc of his story.
Yeah.
It would make sense for him as he goes further and further into heel realm. I feel like the odds drastically go up that he wins at Mania, assuming he gets the World Heavyweight Championship shot and assuming he gets he signs a new deal with the company.
Yeah.
Just to have that symmetry to his story where he won it the first time in front of nobody as like number one babyface in the company, and then wins it again, but this time in front of a lot of people as at least number one heel on Raw, and everybody in Philadelphia throwing batteries at him.
Yeah. You gotta stop throwing batteries at people.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for that by any means. Not at all. Philadelphia has a history of throwing batteries at people who they perceive as heels.
Yeah. So I don't know. Also you got to think, dude. Like, what's like? I know. Look, his leverage is simply like I'm a major player in the company, but in terms of like his like personal leverage outside of WWE, I'm sure that AEW would pony up a lot of money for him. I get that. But if one of his issues was creatively speaking, I want to be satisfied, I don't know that that's the place where he'd want to go. I don't know that he'd want to go to New Japan if one of his things is like, man, I never get to see my family or anything. It seems like a win-win for everybody if he were just to re-sign with the company.
Yeah.
You would, I mean, the way they're using him, especially now, and the way historically they've used him since he came back in 2017, has been pretty darn good.
It has been.
You know, I mean,
good.
they did put that title on him to carry us through pandemic.
Yeah.
And he's always done really, really good work with whatever he's been given.
Yep.
So, you know, I'd like to see Drew back in WWE. I think there's a lot of cool shit he could still do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like there's still a bit of the tip of the iceberg with this Drew character, and there's a lot more that can be done. Because, like, his first title reign was really defined as, all right, he won title. Now he has to learn to be champion.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, and he eventually lost it thanks to The Miz cashing in with the help of Bob Lashley. Now, if he wins this by being heel, well, he knows what it takes to be champion now. As good guy, imagine how he's going to double down on his heel tendencies then to hold on to that title.
Yeah, right, man.
It could be interesting stuff.
He's going to be a cheating bastard.
Oh, just mean, cruel, cheating, bending rules, being really violent.
And then eventually nude Drew.
Ideally.
Yeah. All right, man, let's move on to TNA Wrestling.
It's not Impact anymore. That's the name of the show and not the company, Steve.
Well, you know what? It's not going to be a company anymore, maybe because Scott D'Amore's gone, so Fightful Select has some more details on Scott D'Amore's surprising departure from TNA last week, reporting that Anthem/TNA wanted to present D'Amore his firing as a mutual parting as opposed to a firing. But D'Amore was, quote, adamant that he didn't want to leave the promotion. Fightful confirmed PW Insider's report that D'Amore tried to purchase TNA from Anthem, stating, a couple weeks after his termination became evident, D'Amore made efforts to buy TNA, which were outright rejected. Fightful also reports sources informed them that many of the previous reported production upgrades were, quote, actually related to software upgrades compared to anything else. They switched over from Adobe Premiere to DaVinci Resolve, apparently.
Maybe something like that. Maybe they finally got an Avid.
That could be. That could be. They were on a flatbed before that.
Yeah.
And that Anthem was looking to reduce costs for TNA compared to last year. So they wanted to scale that shit back. They wanted to go back to the days of Josh Matthews running around with somebody's iPhone.
Doing the live streams, yeah.
Doing the live streams.
And that's not like the backup plan. That's the default.
That was the plan. That was not no backup. That was the plan.
It wasn't going from Adobe Premiere to Avid. It was going from Adobe Premiere to iMovie. Edit everything on the phone. This is really a head scratcher in a lot of respects because, you know, we don't know the power struggles that happen, especially with this next bit about this we're going to talk about, that happen within companies.
Yeah.
But you got Scott D'Amore rehabilitating Impact to such a degree they feel like, oh, now's the time to cash in on the goodwill this company has, the nostalgia a lot of people have for the TNA brand, and push the brand into a new era of its own.
Yeah.
And then it seems like in coordination with that, we're going to get rid of everybody responsible for revitalizing, rejuvenating, and rehabilitating this brand, and we're going to cut costs. Like, I understand. I would not be surprised if TNA does not make a lot of money for Anthem, but yet somehow Anthem has money. They bought their own network to air Impact.
Yeah.
And seemingly when there's a situation where they want to sign somebody, they find a way to find the funds to do it.
Yeah, right.
It's just
this is my personal speculation because things often do come down to like dollars and cents and profit and loss, et cetera, right? And so, yes, the goodwill of the wrestling fan base might very well be back on the side of TNA. It's seen in a positive light, and for many years it wasn't. That being said, I wonder if maybe even during the years where it was not perceived in a way that was all that positive, somehow, some way it was still more profitable than it has been even with this resurgence. Look, and that's totally understandable. The Hard to Kill pay-per-view seemingly did really, really good pay-per-view numbers. Yeah. I just wonder if they look to where it was in 2019, if they're like, man, we haven't really seen the fruits of all these labors.
That's entirely possible, and if with the uptick in goodwill and visibility, the company hasn't seen an uptick in money.
And that's just pure speculation on my part, trying to figure out why they would do this, because it does seem like they've got something on their hands that they could build on. and they are seemingly willing to just throw all that away because Scott D'Amore does seem to be the glue that holds it all together. I mean, you saw talent after talent coming out saying this sucks, basically. I'm paraphrasing. So there's more on this. According to House of Wrestling, the shakeup within TNA goes beyond Scott D'Amore's firing. The site reported today that Anthem exec Ed Nordholm would no longer be working with TNA. Stating this, House of Wrestling has confirmed with multiple sources that while still an executive for Anthem, Nordholm is also no longer actively working on the TNA brand. Nordholm still serves as an executive for Anthem, but is no longer working with TNA. He was on the video call to talent and staff announcing D'Amore's departure and Ciccione's promotion, but was only present in his Anthem executive capacity. Those that we spoke with described Nordholm as someone who is regularly by D'Amore's side, as the two were very close. One source indicated to House of Wrestling that the decision was made for Nordholm to cease his work with TNA several weeks ago, likely around when the wheels were put in motion for D'Amore's exit. We have also been told that Nordholm is no longer working on the sports side of Anthem in general. Now, I am not, end quote, I am not necessarily privy to what like Anthem does on their channel. If you're going to look up the schedule right now, that'd be a great help to us.
Well, that'd be Access, right?
Oh, sorry, Access, yeah.
Because they own that.
But Anthem has like other stuff. They're like a production company, right? Know what they do?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Based in Ontario.
Yeah, so I think they've got like a bunch of other things.
Celebrity couples.
Okay.
Music power couples.
Okay, so they have like a couples series.
A lot of music stuff here.
Okay, all right. Well, that's Access for you. What other like things does, because that's for Access though, but Anthem owns Access.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So what else does Anthem do?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of music stuff.
Anthem Sports
and hot ones. They have hot ones.
Oh, they have hot ones on their stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anthem has Access, Fight Network, Game TV, Game Plus, Pursuit, Invicta FC, TNA Wrestling, HD Net Movies, and Gravitas Adventures.
Gravitas Adventures? What is that?
Not Adventures, just Ventures.
Oh, Gravitas Ventures. I thought it was Adventures.
Really weighty, heavy adventures.
Heavy, yes. Filled with drama.
Yeah, so I don't know. It seems like they got a lot going on. And TNA might be one aspect of their portfolio that in their eyes is underperforming.
Could be.
And if Scott D'Amore is like, we need more than just better software. Yeah. We need better hardware and bigger names.
Yeah.
And we can really do something. And maybe they just see that as being a ceiling in there, and then they disagree. That's the only thing I can come to.
It could be a situation like Sinclair was with Ring of Honor, where it was, all right, it's there. If we run it a certain way, it won't lose us a ton of money, and it's programming.
You know how things are with business these days, though. Everything is like profit.
I know.
This is completely tangential, but like I saw this thread on Twitter last night, how like Target is like horribly understaffed.
Yeah, then they're only doing the self-checkout for a certain number of hours a day.
Yeah.
So there's these massive... I was reading a whole thing about that yesterday. So there's massive lines to check out.
Yeah, right.
Like, why are you alienating your customers?
There's like one person at checkout. Like they think, Target just apparently thinks that like they are so vital. I'm like, hey, look, I'm sorry. The only reason I shop at Target is because it smells a little bit less than Walmart. And but I can get better prices at Walmart. And there's like they have proper staffing at Walmart for now.
I was wondering if at Target they're really just trying to push the
customers away.
Well, that seemingly, but also like you can order from your phone and get and pick it up.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
they're really pushing that. I don't know.
I like to go to a place and look at things.
I did like to do that sometimes too.
You know? But then I'm rarely out at stores past like 7:00 anyway, so it won't really affect me. But I love self checkout. Winco, I as much as I can, I do self checkout.
Yeah. Maybe one thing if they lessen the hours of self-checkout to make sure more people were employed and therefore more people work in the cash register.
Yeah, but that ain't the thing.
No, that's not what's motivating them.
If they could replace everybody with cheap-ass robots,
they would do that because it would make them more money. I know.
Exactly. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
It really is.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. I don't know where, Scott D'Amore is going to land. He's obviously an incredibly talented guy with a really sharp mind for the business. Mm-hmm. Hell, if the guy started a podcast, I'd listen to it.
Yeah.
But that being said, whatever the dude wants to do, hopefully he gets to do it. Obviously, he wanted to run TNA, and that's not happening. But I could easily see him landing in WWE or AEW.
Yeah, totally.
If that's something that he was interested in.
Or if he wants to try to start his own thing up, that wouldn't shock me either. If the level of autonomy he seemingly had in TNA to do what he wanted to do from a creative standpoint, he won't get that in AEW or WWE.
Right? Yeah.
So if he's looking to start his own endeavor, that I guess you can't dismiss that possibility either.
You know what could be cool? What about this? You bring HBK up to main roster to like co-run creative there, because he's done such a good job in NXT.
He's done a great job.
You bring Scott D'Amore in to run NXT, the future of the wrestling WWE business.
Yeah,
maybe that's the thing. I don't know what the guy wants to do. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm cool doing none of those things.
Could be.
I'm going to start my own promotion.
Yeah, maybe he's
Scott D'Amore wrestling.
Don't do wrestling anymore.
SD Dub. All
right, you want to answer some questions, Steve?
Well, before we do that,
sorry,
man, gotta get our plugs in. Gotta get our plugs in.
Yes, plug away.
I'm not talking about hair plugs. We're not on a flight to Turkey. We're going to talk today about the Friendo Club setup, Larson. Now, I know people out there. Some of y'all might really like Steve and Larson. You want to help support us. You want more content. Got good news for you. We offer that. It's called the Friendo Club setup, and there's 2 ways to get that. YouTube.com/Steve and Larson. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you can just, right here, you can click join.
Join. That's all it takes.
It's somewhere on this page.
It's a button that says join. Press it.
You click join. $5 a month. That gets you 1 bonus episode every single week. We've got this new show called Friendo Cast. It's a whole hour we do every single week where we don't talk about wrestling at all. If you're one of those, you're like, I'm tired of wrestling. I just want to hear 2 middle-aged dudes talk about life and experiences and stuff, and then answer a bunch of non-wrestling related questions from the friendos. That's where you want to go. So you can get that, access to our question threads for all our shows, and of course, access to the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. Of course, Cameron Shank is our current Big Blue Predictions champion, and he's going to be putting that title up on the line at the next Week of Champions, which is a 2-event spectacular extravaganza, including AEW Revolution, and before that, WWE Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So you get all that, and you can get it 2 ways. Like we said already, click join on YouTube, or you can go to patreon.com/Steve and Larson. You also get your name down here in this scroll right here. Right here's near my hands are on it right here. I'm playing it like a keyboard.
The song you're playing on the scroll.
We are young, we run green, keep our teeth nice and clean.
All
right. What's their names? I forget their names. Anyways, we're all right. That's what a song is called. We also
hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Please.
Hit the subscribe button.
We like a lot of likes because it's validating for us. People like us. People like our content, but also it's good for the program. It's good for videos. It gets a lot of likes, I think.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself that, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
So please hit that like button. Smash that like button if you could, please.
Supergrass. That's what they're called.
Supergrass.
God,
I thought it was super furry animals at first.
Yeah. No, they're good too, though.
They are good.
So yeah, do all that stuff.
Questions, yeah?
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
Cameron Bordalazzo says, do you think the world titles will switch brands after Mania? You got to think Netflix would want Cody with the WWE title for Raw. I mean, that's kind of too soon to tell because that's not going to start until next year.
Wait, what's the question? Are they going to what?
Switch the world titles for brands. Or I feel like Cody's just going to go to SmackDown after he beats Roman, assuming he does. And then Drew will stay on Raw. Yeah. And then the Netflix deal doesn't go into effect till
a while
2025.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're necessarily, they got plenty of time to deal with all that.
Hey, did they ever say what's going to happen between October and January?
No.
We're just going to get a break?
I doubt it because
long-ass vacation.
That's Raw. That's the flagship show in WWE. The longest running continuous show on television or something like that. It can't take a break.
You can't take a break.
It's not going to take a break.
It's best ofs.
Yeah, 3 months of best ofs.
Yeah, and then just a random ass Survivor series on Peacock, I guess.
Yeah.
John and Alistair voice. John says, since Trent Seven's doing glass interviews at raves, what you like, garage or drum and bass? At what events do you see the other British Strong Style members conducting interviews?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, man. I would love to see Tyler Bate at Antiques Roadshow.
That's good.
I would love to see that. Look at this. He's like, look at this old
like Michael Caine.
water bottle right here. Isn't this lovely? How much do you think this is worth? You're wrong. It's 100 quid.
That sounds so much like Michael Caine.
It's 100 quid. Master Bruce, it's 100 quid. Oh, man. And then Pete Dunne.
Swap meets.
It's like the opposite of Antiques Roadshow.
I know.
The inverse of it.
I know.
Look at this. Look at this trash. 2 bits. I'll give you 2 bits for it. Oh, that's good. I like that. Claws. Oh, it's amazing.
Dylan Sutter asked, would you rather the Bloodline story finally end at Mania with Cody or The Rock ending the Bloodline story next Mania?
Rock says.
Odds are it's The Rock. Just curious what you prefer. So Cody will finish his story in 2024. You don't think it's going to happen at Mania? Yes. I think it will.
I think it's gonna be in 2024. I'm starting to lean towards it not happening at Mania.
It's going to happen at Mania.
I think. Okay, so here's part of my logic. Is that it already was... Look. Whether or not you believe, and I still am on the fence, that Rock Roman was supposed to be the thing, and they saw the reaction and they changed course. Whether or not that's the case, and I honestly don't know, and I kind of love that I don't know, because it adds some intrigue. But if the idea was Rock Roman at Mania, then Cody wasn't going to finish his story there. Unless Roman pulled double duty both nights, which would be weird. That wouldn't have happened. It would have been the night 2 main event. Mm-hmm. And if Rock was supposed to win, Cody was not going to win. He was not going to finish his He was not going to finish his story. He would have won whatever match he was in, but he wasn't going to finish his story. And then that would have mean that he would have been like, done another. And so I'm like, okay, man, why do 1 Roman Cody match this year when you could do 2? And the last one is like, oh, either you win on the 3rd try or you are prohibited from challenging Roman again while he's champion. And so it's a do or die situation for Cody Rhodes. And then he goes in there on the 3rd try, maybe in Saudi, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe at some other show, special Madison Square Garden event. I don't know, but if Rock Roman was going to be the thing, Cody's not winning this year at WrestleMania.
But even if the fan outpouring from the fans for Cody to get his spot at WrestleMania, I just don't see how they can disappoint such a large portion of their fan base 2 years in a row by having Cody lose twice in a row.
Well, they did it 1 year.
I know, but like this year, the magnitude of the disappointment is kind of be tenfold from what it was last year, because like the expectation, I know the expectation last year was high that Cody was going to win. He didn't. But I think also to kind of temper that was the idea. It's like, okay, well, assuming The Rock's not going to get his match at Mania at 40, then Cody will get that spot. He'll win there. And if the expectation is that and it doesn't happen, the company's going to get dumped on.
Okay.
Dumped on.
But they might get dumped on, but will people stop tuning in?
No, absolutely not.
Of course not. Arguably, you might have more people tuning because they're like, oh, man, is this guy ever going to... You got to hit rock bottom first, Larson.
Rock said.
That's what they should do.
Rock said.
Cody wins. He finishes his story, but at WWE presents
Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom.
Now, if the idea is they have Cody lose and then he's going to get a singles match against The Rock and win that, and then
Rock says,
and then eventually, then they'll do Rock Roman some other time, and then Cody will beat Roman. Then maybe that's the plan. I'm hard pressed to believe. Let's say it's impossible. Hard pressed to believe they'll give Cody the main event spot 2 years in a row, only for him to lose 2 years in a row.
To me, it depends. You have to weigh that, which is valid. It's totally valid. You got to weigh that against what really was supposed to happen. Did Rock really? And hey, kudos to him and his crew. If they saw the writing on the wall, and were like, no, we're gonna step aside because it makes more sense for Cody. Kudos to them if that is the case. I mean, Cody said, I'm not gonna do it at WrestleMania. They had the press event thing, and then they changed, and then either they changed or they didn't.
Yeah.
Either they changed or they didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it was the approach to the same destination was changed in that Cody stepped aside and said, I'm not going to do this at WrestleMania. And they saw the reaction and they were like, okay, we're going to tell the story of him getting to WrestleMania one way, but now we're going to do it a different way. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
There is.
I just don't know.
Someone needs to write a book about all this.
Somebody needs to write a book, man. Yeah.
Ty Moore here asks, what changes would you have made to the WWE Super Bowl teaser if you were directing it? I would have had
longer.
No, not even longer. I would have had the same exact thing, except I want to intercut CM Punk in there. You got to punch someone in the face. While all those shots of Rock and Roman staring at Cody and Seth.
Yeah, that's good.
You got to go up and you got to punch him in the face.
Yeah. I would put some Oppenheimer quotes in there, to make it really like, I am the destroyer of worlds.
Oh, make it very weighty.
Yeah,
of
gravitas ventures.
Yes, gravitas.
It'd be much more of a gravitas venture. The guy with my favorite name, because it brings back such great memories, CKY Halo, although I was never a Halo fan, says, if you had to book a show, what would be your main event? That's all he says. It doesn't say WWE show, AEW show. If you could book any show spanning space and time, Larson. Let's do it. Let's do two ideas here. One spanning space and time.
Yeah.
And another one just book
whoever we can right now. Is that what you want to do?
With our budget, what show can we book right now?
With our budget?
Our main event right now. Obviously, being an Action Coast Wrestling show, we own that promotion. By the way, March 2nd, the day before Revolution, we got a show in Pacheco, California. Just go to Eventbrite and look up Action Coast Wrestling or ACW.
Yeah.
And it's there. So, yeah, do that. So, yeah, if we could book any show. I'll say this. Here's something that I've actually wanted to do. And I know our guy Magnum is listening. But I've always wanted to do like an Enforcer tribute show.
Yeah, that'd be great. And
in which case, this is something I don't think we could do, but the main event would be Rob Shit versus Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
And that would be the thing.
Yeah, that'd be
for
great.
our budget, it's probably too expensive. Maybe not Rob Shit, but bringing Heavy Metal up
probably,
from Mexico.
Yeah, probably getting Heavy Metal would be too pricey.
Probably can't happen. But that would be like within our means what I would like to do.
Yeah, I don't think I could top that.
Or Steve versus Larson.
People aren't going to be entertained by a bunch of rest holds and headlocks, man. Clumsily done at that.
Yeah, I'd probably end up hurting because you got a bad neck.
I got a bad neck.
On a rest hold.
Yeah.
But across space and time. I'd probably go with Austin Punk. Both of their primes. It'd be like 2011 Punk versus 97 Austin. Like when he was kind of crazy.
Before his neck got hurt too. So
right. Yeah.
He was the ring technician. He was noted to be.
When he would cut those promos, he'd have like crazy eyes.
Yeah, he would. So I'm not. If I have access to any wrestler across space and time, I don't think I want to just limit myself to one-on-one match because think of all the great wrestlers that aren't making it to this main event.
Oh wow, you're gonna do like a 10-man?
So let's do not a tag. Let's do a gauntlet match of all the great world champions.
Oh, I like that idea.
So you got Luthez in there.
Does he start? Did you start chronologically?
Sure, Luthez.
Okay, I like it.
You get Thez. I guess you get Okada in there.
Okay, that's good.
I guess you got to have Flair in there.
Okay, yeah.
Roman's in there because he's on this crazy long title reign.
This is like Cena Hogan type situation. Like we're talking the biggest attractions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
So yeah, just like if you're been a crossover megastar and or have a really really long title reign.
Dude, isn't 2K24 gonna have gauntlets?
Yeah, we could do that.
We're gonna book that shit.
Luthez.
We're gonna get back on that 2K.
Bruno's
stuff.
in there.
Of course, Bruno's.
Bruno's got to be in there.
Is Backlund in there? He was champion for like 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Jesse Helsia says, who has the better hey? Baron Corbin, who goes hey, or Von Wagner, hey, Stone.
Hey.
Von Wagner's works best when you do say Stone. Hey, Stone.
I like Von's because Corbin, hey. It takes more time.
Hey, they're tag team champs.
I know, it's pretty cool. Hey.
They're Wolf Dogs.
But I like with Von because you can do it kind of like mid-sentence. Hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Speaking of which, AJ Otani says, could Braun and Baron Winning the NXT tag titles be Corbin's way back to main roster.
I feel like whenever they want to bring Corbin back to main roster, let's bring him back.
I get the feeling that they're going to want nothing to do with Corbin and Braun Breaker as a tag team on the main roster.
Yeah.
So hard no. Baron is in NXT, but for now.
Peter Brontus says, do you think at Big Business, the main event should be a world title match? I'm thinking Joe pins Hangman at the pay-per-view and Swerve says, wasn't me. I want you 1v1. Don't think it overshadows Mercedes plus Swerve winning on TV would be awesome.
When is it? It's like 10 days after Revolution?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not opposed to it. You know, if you want to try to make Big Business as your all-out 2021. So, yeah, you do that.
Yeah,
load up that show.
Yeah, Mercedes show up, plus you have Swerve win the title.
Yeah, I could see that. That's a possibility. That's not a terrible idea.
No.
Would you do it if you're Booker?
Probably not.
No.
Because those three huge things that you could
space out.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Elemental Giant. We get this question a lot. Is The Rock going to bring in Jacob Fatu?
Rock says.
To the bloodline. The Rock says sign the contract.
That'd be great. Apparently Jacob's a free agent. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great in the ring.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't end up in the WWE system at some point.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised.
You would be?
If he didn't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'd go straight to main roster.
Yeah, he feels like he'd probably spend some time in NXT. He could be the new street champ.
Yeah.
He could just pick him up with like the Solo Sikoa angle. Hey, I'm the street champ. Why he asked Baron Corbin's Von Wagner voice. Dave Matuszek says, with Matt Camp no longer hosting anything related to WWE, Matt Camp was released.
I know
that's sad. That's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
So where do you think he should take his wrestling knowledge next? To TNA, perhaps, if he wants to? I don't know. Maybe. I wasn't that familiar with.
I never really watched the bump that much.
I never really watched the bump. Whenever there was clips, but it was never really the host. It was always just the wrestlers and the clips.
Matt Olson. I wonder if it's the same Matt Olson who's first baseman for Atlanta, former Oakland Athletic.
That'd be cool.
If the Bloodline turns on Roman, will that make them baby faces? If so, what group takes over as top heels in the company after the Bloodline story is over? No, if Roman gets bounced from the Bloodline, it's because
he's a good guy.
He's a good guy now.
He gets
because
face.
The Rock says Roman's out. I'm tribal chief.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that. Ronan says, if Cody finishes the story and presuming Seth versus Drew is the plan, who goes to SmackDown since both champions will be Raw guys? You mentioned this one earlier.
Yeah, I think Cody goes to SmackDown.
Cody goes to SmackDown. SmackDown title.
Yeah.
Title is the territory.
Exactly.
Yeah. Riff Machine says, for the sake of Valentine's Day, what wrestling couple, past, present, or future, is top of the list?
Oh. I guess
I'll be honest with you, man. Right now, I'm leaning towards Miz and Maurice. The reason why is because I feel like they're the most genuine couple.
They're very charming together.
They're very charming together. They seem to genuinely really love each other.
They do. I'll say Montez and Bianca.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Another very charming couple that seem to love each other. On the other hand, they're relative to Miz and Maurice. They're newer. So, like, you don't know what direction that could go. If Bianca's star continues to shoot up to the sky and Montez, never gets that solo push, you know how that goes. I'm just joking. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah. Chris Stanton here says, do you think The Rock is getting new music?
The Rock says...
Absolutely not.
No. Do you think they'll give him back his Hollywood one? I didn't like that one very much.
No, he's gonna keep the same theme.
When The Rock comes out...
Rock says...
With the Bloodline. They use the Succession theme, right? They use the Roman theme.
Maybe, yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so.
AJ says, why aren't Giants booked as strong as they have been in the past? Because they're fewer far between, and generally speaking, they're dog shit in the ring. That's why.
I guess it depends on your definition of recent, but Braun Strowman as Giant worked pretty well when he was feuding with Roman, especially. I know it's 2016, 2017, but that was really good stuff.
It was good stuff, but like generally speaking, like Bronson Reed, he's a big man, right?
Yeah.
But he gets beat all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that's just one of those old wrestling tropes. I wonder if wrestling now is trying to move away from. Like,
oh yeah,
Lance Archer's what, 6'8"?
Yeah, that guy
pushing 300 pounds.
Should be dominating AEW.
You should be wrecking everybody in AEW.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Odd Breakfast says, how do you feel about predicting the appearance of the NXT lawyer yesterday? Yeah, apparently Luca, the lawyer, showed up on NXT programming when we talked about him yesterday.
Heard that. How about that?
I mean, clearly HBK is a huge fan of the show. He knows that you once had a very successful line of bootleg video cassettes.
It wasn't successful. I might have
called
Shawn Michaels' Best Stuff.
Stuff or of?
It was Best Stuff.
Best Stuff.
Best Stuff.
Because in your estimation, it was in fact
best stuff. It was his best stuff.
Linear Print says, if Steven Larson can be involved in the wrestling business rather than YouTube.
We are involved in the wrestling business. We own ACW, don't we?
Yes, we do. But as far as these other roles, he says, what would they pick? Commentator, announcer, manager, etc.
Probably commentator. I could do that.
I think that'd be fun. You and I would have to establish like very specific roles. Like you would
have to know your role. Yeah.
Would you be doing that on me?
No, I wouldn't be doing that on you.
You're probably. Oh no! You're giving me the elbows instead.
Right to the right.
Marquez says, if WWE does decide to put Jade in the Elimination Chamber, there's a rumor that they were considering it. And
yeah, that was PW Insider or something.
PW Insider again?
I think so.
They got all the scoops. If they do decide to put her there, how do they protect her loss if Becky's the one winning?
I think that's why she's not going to be in the match, because if she's in there, the plan is probably for Becky to win, and they don't want her taking L's to start her main roster run. So I would speculate that's why she's not in there.
But if they did put her in, if she shows up on Friday for this Losers Battle Royal, and they put Jade in the chamber, how do they protect her loss? Everybody hits their finish on her. Even that's dumb.
Yeah. I don't know if there's
the Bobby Lashley thing. When they took Bobby Lashley out that time.
Yeah.
She gets hurt.
Yeah.
She just gets hurt.
As her pod opens, so they run an angle where she gets hurt. Yeah.
How about her pod malfunctions and never opens? Does that mean the match never finishes?
You think Jade would just pump kick that thing open?
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Kick the glass out.
But then she still has to lose because she's not going to win that match. And this is the last one we have. Samuel Raja. If you guys had to choose 3 main roster guys to go back down to NXT, who would you choose and why?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
That's who. Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Austin Theory.
Yeah, that's good. Austin Theory's a good one. Friggin', I don't know. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest with you. I don't like it. Because nobody's really, like, I know Baron Corbin's there, and, like, people say, oh, he's good there. I don't know. It just seems like a demotion. Mm-hmm. How do you do it so that it doesn't feel like a demotion?
Yeah, I know.
You need, like, okay, I'll put it this way. Let's say, for example, if Joe Gacy, let's say he got called up a year ago. And his character...
With schism or without schism?
Without schism.
All right.
I could see his character being kind of a cult leader going back to NXT to like pick up a new cult. Yeah. He recruits a new cult there and then brings them to main roster. That's the kind of thing from a storyline perspective that kind of works. I like Austin Theory because he's doing absolutely nothing right now. And I could see him trying to regroup, go to NXT, find a character, become champion, and then come back.
Yeah.
I could maybe see that. Totally. That's good.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people like that, though.
No.
You know?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. So Dom Mysterio had a run as North American champion.
Yeah.
If something happens Judgment Day, it'd be kind of fun to see Dom go down there and sort of big league people and build a crew of his own.
Yeah.
Become champion there as like a chicken shit heel kind of thing.
And then bring them all up together, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So like maybe Dom. But he's doing so well on main roster.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.